Welcome to Making It in the Music Industry, a podcast presented by the Emporium Live. We thank you for joining our interview today with the Fresh Raver. I'm your host, Wallace Toche, and we're at the Emporium Live. We bridge the gap between bands, fans, and venues. One of the ways we do this is by collaborating with artists and industry professionals to provide you with the resources you need and the knowledge to help you better navigate the music industry. You can join our interviews every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and our podcast is available on all platforms 2 days later. You can also join our forum for the website at the emporiumlive.com/forum. And today I'm talking with the Fresh Raver. How you doing today, man?
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. So give us a little intro background on how you got started at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our podcast is available. Oh, we got someone going live over there. All right, cool. So yeah, how'd you get your start? I know that you had a YouTube video, obviously, that went viral, and then you kind of kept going with it, I guess, right?
Yeah. So it was Lost Lands 2018, so almost 2 years ago now, and the video had gone viral a couple of days after getting back home, and I think what happened that kept it going was there was a show. I don't know, probably like 5 days after getting back from Lost Lands in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and it was Yuki that was in town. And I don't know how it happened, but they somehow found out I was going to their show, and they wanted to meet up or something like that. So I knew that they wanted to do something. So at some point in the show, they called me up on stage, and knowing that they wanted to meet up, I brought a stick of deodorant with me. So when I get up on stage, I pull it out, and they go ape shit. They're like, "Oh my God, he's got the deodorant!" And they pull up their shirts, and they're like, "Let's go, let's do it." And I got both of them fresh with like a stick I'd brought. And I think it was another 2 days later, it was at a Jaws show, and the same thing happened at the Jaws show. So after that, it kind of just spiraled into a thing where I think after probably like 9 months, I'd gotten 90 or so DJs fresh with the
nice. That's fun. So at what point did you start actually hosting some of your own shows and doing like benefits and stuff?
Well, so I started doing these deodorant drives probably, so it was March 2019, and it was basically at every event I would go, I'd try to raise deodorant for the homeless. Just have like a box outside the venue, and I would just do a post. I'm going to be at this show. I'm going to be outside collecting deodorant. Bring some if you want. And then sometimes I would even do like, I'll have a party or like some sort of thing after the show if we raise a certain amount of deodorant. I remember at Rusco we raised 200 sticks, and I had a party, and I think at another Jaws show we raised 200 sticks of deodorant, and I jumped into the harbor. And then after that, it just kind of, I wanted to coordinate it a little more, so we started doing shows. And I started a show. It was called the Fresh Rave, where it's an aroma infused dubstep show. So it's basically like a normal dubstep show, except I'm bringing these aroma diffusers, and I'm putting them in different parts of the venue, and then putting different essential oils in each one. So depending on where you stand, you're going to smell something different.
No, nice.
So it was like a slightly variation on my brand, but then we also made it so the shows are completely for charity. So all the money that we get from the show, and even when we were getting the DJs to come and do it for free, so we would raise a bunch of money. So the last one, we did it towards suicide awareness. We raised a couple grand in one show, and then the one before it, it was for the Australian bushfire crisis that's happening in January, and we raised like $3,300 for that in one show.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool to like do your own show and kind of learn the ins and outs of what makes a show happen. It was also cool to continue to raise money and keep doing good stuff.
Yeah. So how do you go about your networking with talking to the venue owners and managers and stuff like that? Like, how do you kind of sell yourself to them and get the floors?
So I actually 10 years ago, I was in a rap group. Not a lot of people know, and it was actually in Boston. So I actually it started out, we were opening for people, and then at a certain point we were headlining shows. So I was actually like coordinating my own show because I was the lead person who would like coordinate with the venue and get that. So for from 2010 to 2015. Probably we didn't do that many shows, probably like 1 or 2 a year type of thing. But I kind of like, you know, they were at the Middle East, which the Middle East is the venue where I'd have all the shows that I did. So I already was familiar. I already had some contacts there that I could reach out to. So the unique thing that was different was obviously it's a different genre. It's a different crowd, you know. So and the shows were bigger that we were doing, you know, with Fresh Raver. So. But I was more comfortable doing it because I'd already done it before. So it was, the learning curve was less.
Cool. So, you've done some of the after hours parties too, like you mentioned. And am I correct that you've done an after hours party with or for Shaq?
No, yeah, it wasn't like with Shaq. He didn't show up. We were hoping.
Okay.
We were hoping he'd show up, but no, he didn't. Honestly, it probably wouldn't have worked out. I think the ceilings weren't even tall enough to fit him. We were really trying to move stuff around to go because there's one room with a really high ceiling. We're like, oh, he can fit there. It'd be perfect. But everywhere else it didn't work. So, but no, we would have like these after parties, and it was that was cool for a little bit. We had like a New Year's party. It was basically like only local DJs. I think one time like we had Al Ross do a show and he came by and spun at the after party, and he was with us until he left at like 11 a.m. the next day.
Nice.
That was a pretty awesome party. But no, it was a cool spot, a cool apartment that we had, but it's unfortunately no more. But it was no more before this whole pandemic stuff. Happened. You know.
So yeah, speaking of like with the pandemic and all that, how's it been going with hosting anything? Have you done any online shows for people or helping people with getting on anything like that?
No, I honestly I haven't. I've been just waiting for things to open up a little bit so I could get the real shows going again. Just like I told you, I kind of not knew what I was doing, but had a little bit of experience, at least with the physical shows. I have no experience with the live streams or any of that stuff. That was a whole other thing I wasn't even prepared to try to learn. But you know, I see other people doing it, and it's really good. I just I think we're almost there. I see there's some shows going on in New Hampshire now. So you know, maybe if things are going to be on hold in Massachusetts, I could just kind of from New Hampshire, so it's easy to do that.
Well, so how'd you get your branding started with I see on your webpage you've got jerseys and pins that people can purchase. How'd you get that going?
So that started the pins. It was really the pins for a while, and then I just started clothing recently. But we've been doing pins for like a year. I think I'm on my like 7th iteration of a different of a pin, and it started with someone sent me some fan art. It was like a cool picture of me with my face like holding 2 sticks up, and it was just like a cartoonish picture, and I posted it up like I was like, oh, this is really cool, and someone comments like, you should turn that into a pin, and I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So I forget how I came across, but someone actually I asked around, and somebody told me, oh, you know, hit up this company. So I started working with this company and you know, doing pins with them, and then I started working with somebody else who was helping me work directly with like a manufacturer in China. A buddy of mine, and the pins were really, really good quality. So yeah, I kind of started with the pins just based on that graphic, and then the jerseys. Do you guys know ATS, Above the Sky?
I don't think so.
They make jerseys for a lot of the DJs. Like I saw, I think they did something for Lucy.
Nice.
Electronics, like the DJs like that. And he's from Boston, Adam, and who runs the company. So I knew him, and he actually, like, I was working with him with Heavy Fest, and he was like, I actually have this really good idea for this jersey. And he was just like, he just banged out that design, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I don't know if you saw the basketball jersey, because it's the baseball jersey, but then I was just like, can you do that again for a baseball jersey? And he just did something else.
The baseball jersey is clean. I like it. I like that one a lot, dude.
Yeah, so I've yet they're in production right now. hopefully be done very soon. And then I can't wait to rock that. Yeah.
Good deal. So do you have any plans to get back on the turntables when the whole thing's over? I know you've done a couple sets in the past.
Yeah. So I did one set at the last show, and I actually was planning on doing some more sets. Actually, people like a few promoters throughout some different cities had approached me about performing at their shows, and I was like, oh hell yeah, and they even wanted to pay. And then this whole pandemic happened. Obviously, everything canceled. So
Yeah.
I had 4 gigs lined up, and then none of them ended up happening. But as things are opening up, I want to get into it, but I don't want it to be my focus. I'm not trying to be a DJ. It's more for fun. I guess if you think of me as like a content producer or of sorts, it's just a type of content or a type of fuck content producer. If you think of me as an entertainer, I'd want to be more perceived as an entertainer. That's just one stream of entertainment. Just being able to DJ, being able to dance, being able to sing, being able to just go crazy and have fun is.
I got you. Well, so have you thought about?
Hopefully I'll do soon. Hopefully I want to see how it picks up, but just on the side.
Yeah. So if things start opening up and you can start getting crowds again and all that stuff, doing either the hosting the shows like your Aurora shows or like the after hours parties or whatnot, have you ever thought about reaching out to Old Spice themselves and backing you on any of those?
I did. So I did this like post, and it was just like a couple months ago actually, and I was just like, guys, help me get like a sponsorship with Old Spice. Like I don't know, I did some like, can we get like 500 people tagging Old Spice in the comments? And I think it ended up being like 700 people.
Nice.
In the comments tagging Old Spice. And I don't know, and I also I sent it to them like the post, so it wasn't just like, oh, let me just hope that they see it. Like I was like, yo, you guys see this shit? And the reason why I actually pushed on that, like all of a sudden a couple months ago, is because since this whole pandemic happened, I started seeing some Old Spice ads I was on SoundCloud, I got an Old Spice ad, and I don't get deodorant ads. The deodorant guy it never happened. You would think I would, but
yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm getting it. I'm like, this can't just be me. It's not targeted at me. They must be targeting, because there were very rave specific ads. And I'm like, what's going on here? So then I heard it on SoundCloud. Then I heard it on Pandora. Then I heard it. I saw it somewhere else. I forget. And then people started messaging me and being like, yo, did you see Old Spice is like advertising to the EDM community and they're not using you? Like, fuck them. And I'm like, yo, dude, honestly, yeah, fuck them. But before I said fuck them, I was like, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to see if I can,
try and get a little back in on that one.
Money, see if I can get it out of commercials.
Right. Well, I mean, it'd be easy to say if you get to talk to them, pointing out some of the hosting that you've done with, you've had Rusco, you've had Shaq, you've had a few other pretty big names also that you've been associated with in a way. And then would help if you have anything in the future right now that you're promoting for trying to get your influence to help push another festival for when the coronavirus goes down? Do you have anything in mind for that you'd be able to show to them also?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can see them, because obviously they're spending money in this area right now. They see it as something, that's worth doing custom commercials, clearly. But, I could see them maybe sponsoring like the actual shows themselves, because that would be a little different than a sponsorship of me.
Do you have anything like on hold right now because of coronavirus that you're waiting for it to clear up to start promoting again?
Like a show?
Yeah. Do you have anything online like lined up?
Like for me, I would book the show and have the show ready the next month. So I'm ready to go whenever things are open up again. It's actually because since it's a charity event, it's actually easier to get DJs and stuff involved, but depending on the topic. But each DJ is going to be more passionate about, like, there was suicide awareness. So there's going to be different people that you get, but it was really easy to do that, and it was really easy to do that very quickly. It didn't have to be formalized like 2.5 months ahead, like a normal show would, with a contract and all that stuff. So as soon as things open up, like, I can go next month. It's really just waiting for things to go up. And then, I see things are at half capacity. So then there's another issue with making it so we can actually raise money for charity at half capacity. But, if things, you cut the costs and you make it so, things are really reduced, then even at half capacity, you could raise, maybe $1,000 or something dollars, which would be really great to keep contribute that on a monthly basis.
Heck yeah. So is there leading up to where the viral video, the first video that went viral, was that just honestly you out there just having fun, having to go out and your friends recording it, or was that a planned kind of deal?
So the Lost Lands video,
Yeah,
that was funny enough. It was really a situation where it was early, I think on day 3. If I remember correctly, I forget what time, but it was really early in the day, and we were just getting started. We're starting to have fun. We're getting ramped up, and I remember turning around and I see this girl, and she just looked like she's having the most miserable time. Like she just didn't look happy, but not like somebody just standing there with like a blank face. It looked like something happened, like she was upset. And I don't know, I'm just like, I'm feeling good, I have good energy, and I'm just like, for me, if I see something like that, I'm like, oh, I could cheer this person up. And so I go and I go up to her, I'm like, like acting real goofy, I'm like, are you all right? And she's like, no, honestly, like I'm having like the worst day ever. But and then she went into it a little bit, and I was just like, oh, like, don't let that get you down. And I'm just like, so there's actually another video before that video of me, and she's holding her camera, and I'm kind of like doing this thing where I like walk across, and I'm like doing like the elevator, so I like kind of go out of the shot, and I'm just doing this. You can hear her like laughing. It's just me trying to cheer her up, and I'm doing all these goofy faces, things in her face, and then she continues recording after that. And I just go to my friend, and I like, I'm dancing with him. It's just kind of like a fuck around circle. And we're just like, I go to him like, yo, bro, you kind of smell bad. And I always had like 2 sticks of deodorant in my bag. So one for me and one for like my boys. Anyone else needed it if they saw me putting it on. So I go and I grab the community stick, and I go and I'm like throwing it on him, and I'm still like in my goofy, like kind of trying to like, hopping around mode. She's catching this all on video. I'm not even really acknowledging that she's still recording.
Nice. Yeah, it's even better.
And then like a week later, she posts that clip in the group, in the Lost Lands group, but it's not shareable. And I'd never seen in that Lost Lands group like so many people like and comment on one video, like, oh, you got to make this shareable. So she hit me up. She's like, do you want me to post this online? I was like, yeah, like I guess so.
Nice. Well, I'm glad it worked out. That's great. Yeah. I think it's even better that it was an accidental kind of situation too. She just kind of kept recording. That's great.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was from a good, like the whole situation, that like whole like 5-10 minutes was good, because she came to me after. She's like, you cheered me up, like that made me feel a lot better. Thank you. And I was, I felt good. It set the stage for the rest of the day, and I had a really good day. So it was good. It was good overall.
Man, so when was the last fresh rave that you did?
It was February 28th.
Oh man. And who all did you have at that one? Was that the aroma infused one?
Yeah. They all are. That one.
Oh, okay. They all are.
Was with Pixel Terror and Infinite.
Oh, nice. Pixel Terror is tight.
And then we had one in January. It was all local. So sometimes I do these local ones. They're called Fresh Locally Sourced Bass, and it's all local DJs. So that one was local. And then we did another one called Fresh Locally Sourced Bass New York, where we did one in New York in January, and that was it's obviously not as big as Boston, because Boston's my hometown, but it was still, I thought, a successful show. So it was good to expand it into other cities, and there were actually plans to bring it to the Fresh Rave to a lot more cities beforehand, but obviously, all that's on hold at the point.
Yeah, and that would be awesome too if you could start getting a Fresh Rave here and a Fresh Rave there, and like just start moving it through like some local communities throughout, and like getting them out a lot further. That'd be a lot cooler, man.
Yeah, that was the plan. So we had Boston, New York, and then I wanted to kind of keep doing it. So it was like Boston was one day and New York was the next day. So, or they were 2 days apart or something like that. But so then the plan was kind of to turn not into a tour, but almost like a tour, where it could be like maybe a 3-city or 4-city hop. Keep pushing the Fresh Wave out.
Good deal. So right now, if you could, in the hopefully near future, if it starts to open up and you can start hosting a show again, not like super big names, but like what are some like the more like middle ground names of like DJs you'd like to put on?
I'd like to put on. Oh man, I wanted to. I'd love to bring someone like Jansen. Here that would be dope. And then there's I really want to think about who hasn't come to the area, because I think that would be interesting. Like people who, you know by name, but I have to go and kind of think about that further. What I actually had, there were not better shows, but I like it because it gives the people a better opportunity, as the fresh locally sourced based shows, because not only would I bring like names like Uncle Bob or AG, like the people you'd see a lot in Boston, but we actually have like contests where people who that wouldn't normally have a shot, I'd let them, it was kind of like a post your mix and people vote, and then like the top three would get a slot, opening slots at the show. So then it's.
Is that how you usually go about getting the local artists on as well?
No, it depends. I'd like have like a few slots that I select, and then it's usually leave at least 1 to 3 slots for people who haven't performed before. Not performed like they've DJ'd, but haven't like DJ'd at house parties and not at an actual show.
Gotcha. Do you have a group of local artists that you really enjoy using?
Yeah, well, I mean, the ones who I've used, like worked with most frequently would be probably Uncle Bob, but he's actually, I believe, just moved away from Boston. And then there's Nephew, I think he's done 3 shows, and then there's AG, I think he's done 3 shows as well. So those are some of the local names that I knew before this whole Fresh Raver thing. They were on a lot of shows throughout the years, so it was good to get some local names people knew into the show, but then also bring some new people that people didn't know, so then you get kind of like the mix up.
Cool. So you got the t-shirts, you got pins. What's the future looking like for your brand there? Were you planning on adding anything to that repertoire?
Yeah, so I've got these new. Essentially, what I started doing was these skits where I didn't do a lot of them, but I plan on doing more.
Are they the ones that are on the Instagram?
Yeah. So like skits with like I have these characters that I'm developing.
Yeah.
Where one is a Wook. His name is River, and he's like always like fucked up on drugs and like just. So
now I'm really glad I asked, because I got on your Instagram earlier today and I looked at like 2 of the ones that were the Wook character. I was like, I don't even know if I'm on his actual Instagram. Like, what is going on here? So I kind of walked away from that. Now I'll go back and check them all out. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah. So he's like the anti. He's like almost like my arch nemesis, right? He doesn't wear deodorant. He won't wear deodorant no matter what. But he's also like everything else that encompasses like an extreme version of a Wook. So there's that character, and then there's another character. He's like a dad character. He like has a head. He doesn't understand what raving is about or why people rave, like kind of like the typical like this music sounds like shit, like kind of like character. And then there's this other character that I haven't done yet, but I have like the outfit and the clothes, and it's basically his name is Chad, and he's like this kind of character who like just cares about his body and doing Molly, finding slots, and that's his character. So I have a shirt that says like looking for rave sluts or something like that, and he's supposed to be like this really douchey character who like is just trying to like, so that I create these kind of like nemesis to Fresh Raver. So it's kind of like I'm battling these kind of extreme characters that I'm developing and kind of dealing with them on an on basis. But what it's really turning into, well, not turning into, but so one thing is the skits, but another thing that I'm working on is actually where River, the character, is trying to do a rap career. So he's trying to have like this rap career where he's just rapping about Wook shit, right? So it's all Wook related stuff, and he's actually just ripping off other people's songs. So they're like it's like a Drake song or a Kanye song, and he's just kind of like changing up some of the words and doing that. So he's basically like being like a Wook and just ripping it off and just taking.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So the River character this summer is going to be coming out with like a mixtape or like a little EP. It's like five to 7 songs that he's made, and then I'll have like the Jared character. I don't know if he'll try to be a rapper too, but they'll like kind of maybe feature on with each other, you know, type of thing. So I'm creating like the world of like, and it's you know, you're like, what does that have to do with Fresh Raver? It kind of doesn't, but at the same time, I mean, what I'm trying to do with the Wook characters, I want that emphasis to be on. So he's very drug heavy. Like that's probably what you'll see the most is him just getting really fucked up on drugs and doing like weird shit. So the underlying message that I want to bring here is that, you know, between you and I see that there's like an issue, not an issue. I like, you know, drugs are part of the scene and whatever you want to say, but I do see that a lot of people kind of abuse it and take it a little further than it needs to be taken.
Yeah.
And I don't see that people think, I don't, at least in my opinion, find that people, it's not a red flag to a lot of people when they see like, you know, somebody bragging about taking like, you know, 2 10 strips of acid, like it's a thing, or taking like a line of ketamine bigger than my fucking hand, you know. And I'm just like, you know, these are kind of like things that I think people should, you know, be a little bit more attentive to. So that's where he's kind of becoming this extreme character where you're like, whoa, he's going overboard. Like, and he's really going above and beyond. And, you know, he might have an issue, right? And how does he come to terms with that issue? And how does he figure out, you know, what am I going to do about it type of thing? So this character is kind of like an extreme example to figure out, oh, what do you do if you have this issue and how do you go about it? So over the course, like obviously at the beginning, I'm building him up. So he's just going to be kind of like doing the spiral where he's just going more drugs. He starts selling drugs, but then, you know, he'll kind of develop and be like, okay, how do I get out of this? How do I spiral back in? You know, it'll be like an ongoing saga of him dealing with this issue and being a raver and doing it, you know.
Right on. It's not a bad idea, man. I can dig it. We'll start checking those out. Are those going to be TikTok, YouTubes, Instagrams?
So like I'll with a few of the songs, we're actually getting ready next week. I'm doing a music video for 2 of the songs. Okay. With a professional like videographer. So he's those will be like YouTube, and then they'll transition to Instagram like a week or so later. So, but I'll be posting them up everywhere when they come up.
Nice, very cool. Glad to hear that, man. That's awesome. All right, Tucker, you got any more questions for our boy? Good. All right. I think I've got everything on my list taken care of. I know Tucker's got a cabin for the weekend, so he's trying to get up and go. But dude, it's been good talking to you. I can't wait to see what's going on. When are those videos going to be dropping? Do you know?
Well, so I don't know. It'll take time to edit and whatnot, but the songs will be. I'll be sharing the songs in my group. I don't really share the songs until they're really ready outside of the group. So if you want to like sneak peek at the songs as they come out, because as I record them, I kind of release little sneak peeks. I'd definitely check out the Fresh Raver fam group for those. But otherwise,
is that the Facebook group or
Facebook group? Yeah, the close Facebook group.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely get on there.
And then otherwise, they'll you know, when they're ready, like the polished version, it'll probably take like a month or so to get that out. That'll be like on YouTube and whatnot as it goes. Okay,
very cool, man. And anything else you want to shout out to before we get out of here?
No, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And
for sure, dude. You're very fun to listen to. I definitely enjoyed listening to the arc of how all that went down. And I think I remember when that video first came out, watching it, being like, "Well, all right, yeah, man. People get stinky at shows," and then kind of not avoiding it or anything, but just like it just was never in my face again. And then when he said we had the Fresh Raver on, it didn't dawn on me until a while ago. Like I was thinking we got a promoter coming on, cool, Fresh Raver. And the more I dug in, the more I was like, is he that guy? There's no way.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. I get that a lot still. It's just like, I think I put up another video and they're like, I see comments like, that guy looks like the deodorant guy. Wait, is he? Like, no, it is. What? It's like that whole realization.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then, dude, again, like mad props on the items in your online store and the jerseys and stuff like that, man. I actually think I might get a baseball one. That shit is clean.
Oh man, dude, yeah, they're always a limited edition. So both of them, both the jersey and that one, are out of 90. So there'll only be 90 made of those. Yeah, so I think if anyone wants one, they're at freshraver.com.
There we go. All right, so you got your Instagram, which is
at Fresh Raver, and then Facebook Fresh Raver. The only thing is TikTok kicks me off when on my original at Fresh Raver account. I still don't know why. I never posted anything that's really inappropriate. But then it's now fresh.raver.
Okay, so that's the only one that's different. Gotcha. Well, all right, man. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight, and thanks to everyone else for listening to. And remember, you can tune in every Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. to catch it live. After that, it's every 2 days after the show. It's on our podcast socials. Catch up with us at the Emporium Live at gmail.com @com and /forum, so you can ask us any questions that you didn't get to ask during the show. And I think we might have a radio show coming up here soon to be starting on Tuesdays. I don't know if we've got that quite ready yet. I know we've been back and forth on that. But hopefully soon, every Tuesday, we'll have new music on our radio show. And once we get enough, it'll be just an ongoing show that we'll be playing daily. So, you can just check out for new music on Tuesdays then. But thanks again, everyone, for listening. And Tucker, thank you for helping out. Fresh Raver, thank you for hanging out and being so fresh, man. Really appreciate it.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, we'll catch up with everybody later.
Have a good one. Peace.